यार नंदिनी, कोई मेरा बात समझता क्यों नहीं है?
Wait a minute. What happened? Why do you sound so defeated?
आई माइट साउंड सिली, पर पता नहीं, हर बात को कई बार दोहराने पर भी ना जाने क्यों कोई बस मुझे 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 समझ ही नहीं पाता। बस गलतफहमियां हो जाती है सभी को। मैं कहना कुछ और चाहती हूँ और लोग समझते कुछ और है। हाउ डू आई इवन गेट आउट ऑफ दिस? करो तो, तो करो क्या?
So, what you are saying is, even after explaining yourself again and again, you still feel like no one is really listening or understanding you, right?
Exactly that. Getting my true intentions across becomes so difficult that almost every conversation ends up feeling unproductive.
Well, I can totally understand how you're feeling right now. But have you ever wondered, maybe the real question is not why don't they get me, but rather, am I communicating properly at all?
Um, I never really thought about it from that perspective. I guess I never considered that maybe the problem could be with how I am communicating too.
Happens to the best of us. Lots of people face this issue, so let's dive into this in today's voice tweet. Shall we?
That would be great. Now that you have pointed it out, I do realize that sometimes I fail to see things from different perspectives. Maybe that's why I struggle to get my point across to others.
That's a great insight to start with. The problem is when we communicate, we often make assumptions about what others are thinking when we could just ask them directly for their perspective instead.
That's actually a great way to avoid misunderstandings. What else do you think we can do to make sure we communicate better?
I guess we should try to avoid that gap between what we intend to say and how it is actually interpreted.
That sounds like a great solution. But in theory, Acha, how do we actually make sure it really happens in real life?
Okay, it's actually quite simple. First, be clear about your own thoughts before you share them. Then communicate in a straightforward way. Avoid jargons and make sure to include all the necessary details so there's no room for misinterpretation.
Acha, that actually makes sense. And honestly, I think tone plays a big role too. Like, imagine saying everything with the same straight face and flat voice. Of course, people are going to get confused now.
Yes, this is so true. Communication is as much about how we say things as what we say. Prosody, the rhythm, stress, and intonation of speech can totally change the meaning of what we say. These are part of the non-verbal cues in communication. Can you think of any other non-verbal cues we use?
Wait, let me think. Facial expressions, gestures, postures, also eye contact. Okay, wow. Communication is actually way more complex than I thought. Interesting.
Exactly. The more we become aware of these layers, the better we get at expressing ourselves and understanding others too. So, next time, Don't forget to check your nonverbal cues. They are speaking just as loud as your words.
Ha, Baba, noted. I'll make sure to match my tone with my words. Got any other tips, ma'am?
I think being emotionally intelligent and practicing active listening are super important. It helps you really understand the other person and adjust how you communicate based on the situation.
Yes, I can actually recall times when things went off track just because I wasn't fully aware of how the other person was feeling. Hmm.
Well, it's never too late. Just remember, try to create a space where the people around you feel safe to express their positive and negative emotions. Make them feel truly heard. And believe me, when you start doing that for others, it naturally finds its way back to you.
I gained so much perspective today. Glad we communicated about communication. Thank you.
Nice wordplay. And hey, this is another point we must add: humor. Add a little humor to a conversation, and voila, it becomes so much more engaging. And wow, we covered a lot today. Why don't you do the honors and wrap it up for our lovely listeners? Because right now, my thoughts are moonwalking right out of my head.
I'll gladly do so, Nandini. So, yes, communication is all about truly connecting with others. When we listen actively, stay mindful of our tone and body language, and try to understand the other person's feelings, that's when real understanding happened. So, remember, say what you mean, say it clearly, say it kindly, and do not forget to throw in a good laugh now and then. Happy communication, people.